This story just sort of popped up out of nowhere this week. I really wasn't even paying attention. But jurors at a civil trial found on Tuesday that Bill Cosby sexually abused a 16-year-old girl at the Playboy Mansion in 1975. The Los Angeles County jury delivered the verdict in favor of Judy Huth, who is now 64, and awarded her $500,000. The jurors found that Cosby intentionally caused harmful sexual contact with Huth, that he reasonably believed she was under 18, and that his conduct was driven by unnatural or abnormal sexual interest in a minor.
Boy, why didn't they just call him a pedophile?
Right. See, here's the thing, right? I wasn't there. Obviously, I was not there. I wasn't even alive in 1975. I got to be honest with you people. But how long, Rev? How long can people wait before they come out and be like, oh, I'm going to sue you now? Like 1975?
Mm-hmm.
My parents weren't even together in 1975.
Wait a minute. That was during the height of Fat Albert and the Cosby kids. All right, so we're supposed to believe now. Never mind, and I know that anybody would have dared ask this question. Child, what were you doing in the Playboy Mansion?
Yeah, at 16.
At 16. How did you get to the Playboy Mansion when you were 16?
Yeah.
How did you even know where the Playboy Mansion was when you were 16?
Yeah. Those are all great questions. I didn't even think about that. I
bet neither did either of the attorneys involved. Neither apparently did the jury, because after all, there's no way in the world that a clear complexioned woman of a certain ethnic background would lie in sexual matters regarding a black male. That never, ever, ever happens.
Right, and like I said, even let's just for argument's sake say that it did happen. 47 years later, there's no evidence, there's no proof, there's no witnesses. Exactly. At this point, it's a he said, she said thing. 47 years later, it'd be different if there was video, if there was a videotape, if there were a bunch of witnesses that had been intimidated into silence. I'm trying to figure out exactly how. Where's your evidence? What evidence do you have whatsoever to 47 years later? Like I said, Muhammad Ali was was heavyweight champion of the world. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Not even like Larry Holmes or Mike Tyson. Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight champion of the world when this allegedly went down.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Rev, because I didn't even think about that. What type of parents allow your 16-year-old daughter to hang out at the Playboy Mansion? The Playboy Mansion? And why would he assume that somebody who is at the Playboy Mansion would be 16? Like, because if I see a young woman and she at the Playboy Mansion, I'm assuming that she's a grown woman because she's at the Playboy Mansion.
Yep. I mean, who do you hold actually responsible? Let's say this is a nightclub, and a guy meets a girl in the nightclub.
Right.
She is in the nightclub, which, it's an adult nightclub. They're serving liquor and so forth. You have to be over 21 years of age to be in said nightclub because it serves alcoholic beverages. And she is in the nightclub. And he sees her in the nightclub, and she is clearly enjoying herself. She's being served in the nightclub.
Right.
And so he goes up to her. They talk, they dance, they drink, and then he takes her home.
Mm-hmm.
A few days later, the police show up at his door. Turns out she was underage. Who is responsible for that? Well, according to the scenario we saw played out for Mr. Cosby, clearly it is the gentleman who goes into the club having showed his ID to, show that he's 21 years or older.
Right.
So that he can legally drink at the bar
Right.
with said young lady with whom he was drinking and dancing and everything. But yeah, apparently we now live in a world where the bar is not responsible, the doorman is not responsible, the owner of the nightclub is
Right.
not responsible. The guy who met the girl in the nightclub is responsible. I guess he
Right.
needs to check her ID too.
Right. Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner to me is responsible.
Yeah.
And as I've said before,
And Playboy is still a corporation in existence. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
And the Playboy Mansion was owned by Playboy Enterprises.
Yep.
Okay.
They did sell it a few years ago, but that's about it. Because the son was running it, and then they forced the son out.
Okay.
Hugh Hefner's son. But what would Hugh Hefner have 16-year-old girls doing at his house? Who knowing what goes on in the grotto and everything at his house? So I'm trying to figure out how is this a scenario where only Bill Cosby sitting here, where when Playboy is not anywhere to be found. I'm not seeing anything about Playboy. And the thing is, a lot of people don't know this, but Cosby's lawyers actually found inconsistencies in their story because the women said that they, in pretrial depositions and police interviews, that Samuelson, who was one of the women who was the witness, I guess she was the witness that Miss Huth was depending on. She said that they were playing Donkey Kong on the day that Bill Cosby had molested her or whatever. But the game had not been released until 6 years later.
Yeah, just going to say, 75, I think we were still barely doing Pong
Yeah.
in 1975.
Yeah, so like to me, this entire thing seems like it's sort of like you can put anything on Bill Cosby now, because he is really, if you think about it, him and R. Kelly are sort of the fall guys for Me Too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Me Too is over now. Johnny Depp is completely out of trouble, in spite of the fact that, like I said, even people who worked for Johnny Depp said that he was abusive to his wife. People who worked for him said that he was a raging alcoholic. So I was never on the Amber Heard is completely lying trip, because I think she may be lying about some stuff. I don't think she's lying about everything. But they like Johnny. Johnny's one of their guys. So they completely let Johnny go, pretty much. They let him, his career will now be unscathed by this. But Cosby, they sacrificed Cosby. They sacrificed R. Kelly. They said, look, you guys can go and rot somewhere.
We won't beat you. We won't burn you. They won't be able to put you in a coffin.
Right. Let's go to this caller.